How's it going, guys? TFF back here again with another video. Normally I'd be doing my MVP recap. However, Josh Allen does play tonight, and I do think I'm going to have him in my MVP rankings. For that reason, I'm going to wait till after tonight's game and make that video tomorrow regarding the MVP updates. So today we're going to do studs and duds. Starting off at number 3 for the stud, it is Jonathan Taylor. 14 carries for 145 yards and two touchdown passes, two touchdown rushes, sorry, and one of those touchdown rushes was for over 40 yards. He also didn't get too involved in the passing game, one reception for 15 yards. However, he had an amazing game. He was really dominant. He got involved with the offense early and often, and the Colts did have a runaway game where the game script did say that they were going to run the ball more. However, Jonathan Taylor looked awesome every time he touched the ball, explosive, and this is the Jonathan Taylor that we've been looking out for since the beginning of the season. He did have a tough start to the season. He really did. He didn't look the greatest in the. He looked a little bit, I'd say, rusty at the first 2 games of the season, maybe even 3 games. But now he's just looking like the fantastic running back that he was last season. And I think that going forward, the Colts really have to build around this offense that has Jonathan Taylor rushing like he does, and even receiving the ball, he's been quite good. Although he only got one reception yesterday, I still think that overall he's looking good. At number 2, I got Darrell Henderson from the LA Rams. He had 21 carries yesterday for 78 yards and a touchdown rush, and then he also caught the ball 2 times for 29 yards and then got a receiving touchdown. The game script did really lean towards a run-heavy style, especially since the Rams got up early and the Giants couldn't really respond. However, he was good all around, to be honest. He's really showing that they're not really missing Cam Akers in that backfield. He's been taking over multiple games, looking fantastic, receiving and rushing wise. He does run really hard, and I think that if he can stay healthy, which is his biggest problem over the last few years, if he can stay healthy, then he's looking at a really strong running back one fantasy wise, and in real life, a running back that can take him the distance. They already have an elite passing game with Matthew Stafford, who's could be in the MVP contention yet again. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp having a fantastic year. Darrell Henderson is fitting perfectly fine there and is running hard and giving the Rams a chance to win every single week. The last stat I have of the week, probably one of my favorite performances, was Najee Harris. Najee Harris had 24 carries, so a ton of workload for 81 yards. Still not too productive like we spoke about in the past. However, receiving wise, 6 receptions, 46 yards, and a touchdown pass. I think this offense was really running through Najee Harris, to be honest, especially when it got to late in the game and then overtime. Najee Harris was used to control the clock. He was running hard. He broke a few tackles. He could have had a second touch, second touchdown, but this time it would have been a rush when he broke a tackle and got stopped near the goal line. I think that Najee Harris had a fantastic game. I think that he's really showing his quality and why the Steelers did draft him. They did have the options with Travis Etienne, who's actually currently injured with the Jaguars. However, Najee Harris is looking absolutely fantastic. He's really running hard. He's breaking a lot of tackles. His blocking could be improved a little bit. However, I think that he has a bright future going forward. And if he gets this kind of workload, I think that the Steelers can really go pretty far. Big Ben is not someone to rely on currently, so they need to get the ball into their playmakers' hands. And Najee Harris is one of those playmakers for this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Going on to the duds now. Starting off with DJ Moore, that whole game was kind of interesting in general for the Carolina Panthers. They didn't fare very well at all, to be honest. They didn't look too good. And DJ Moore was kind of I'm going to single him out. That I'm expecting a lot more out of him. 1 carry for 6 yards, that's okay, but 5 receptions for 70 yards, and he lost a fumble. I think that was really poor from him. A poor game overall from DJ Moore. Wasn't really giving Sam Darnold many options. I guess the bright spot out of that Carolina game for the Panthers was that Chuba Hubbard looked fantastic, especially with Christian McCaffrey being on the sidelines for many weeks now and going forward. But DJ Moore has to get involved like he was earlier in the season. He has the capabilities to do so, and he's shown in the past, even as early as this season, that he can be an elite wide receiver. It was really looking like his season this year, and it's unfortunate that these last few weeks he hasn't been great. I do expect more out of him. I do think he'll bounce back. However, for this week he is on the duds list. Another dud was Tyler Lockett. we got to take into consideration that Russell Wilson is out, and Russell Wilson loves throwing the ball deep to Tyler Lockett. However, 2 receptions on 7 passes for 35 yards is just not enough. DK was trying to get more involved, and he was doing a pretty decent job. The run game was established in that game yesterday against the Steelers. However, Lockett was just kind of invisible for the most of the game. We're expecting a lot more of a receiver that's been as consistent and as good as he has been the last few years. And I know he's missing Russell Wilson, but still, he needs to get involved in the game a little bit more. Maybe that's play calling, and maybe that's on him, or maybe it's a bit of both. But either way, I think that when you have the talent and the skill set that he has, you need to get involved in the game a little bit more. The next dud is going to be or the final dud is going to be that whole Chargers offense. They kind of got buried by the Baltimore Ravens in a pretty poor performance all around. Eckler really didn't get anything going. Mike Williams had one big reception. Jared Cook caught a touchdown pass, but Herbert was not looking good. Keenan Allen got involved a little bit more than usual, especially with Mike Williams not playing the best. I think that Chargers offense, that's a one-off game. They're still explosive, they're still high-powered, they're still all of that, but this was a poor week for them against the Ravens defense, which is okay, but they're hit by injuries pretty badly, much like their offense. So I was expecting a lot more out of the Chargers in the game where they weren't facing the hardest defense and they kind of just looked flat for the most part. I do think that this probably is a one off, like I said, and they will be back to their normal form. However, for this week, I think I have to declare them my last dud. Thank you guys so much for watching TFF out. Like and subscribe.